Afternoon, guys. Give us a shout if you're watching. Give it a couple set up correctly. Out to Jay. Glad you can hear me, mate. Out to Jack and Kev. Good guys. So gonna have a chill for a bit before I get started. Making sure everything's set up. Streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. The quality might be better on Twitch or YouTube. I've noticed that there is some just when I've been watching streams myself. So I'm going to be making a track on Ableton Live. So I've already got an idea down. So we're starting with an 8-bar loop. The aim of today's session, kind of get about half the arrangement down. So I know that quite a few people struggle, sort of moving from a loop idea to getting a solid track idea down. So it helps your ideas. Kind of just go cover the basics, groundbreaking. I think we can get started now. So, introduce you to the track idea. So it's got a bit of an MJ Cole vibe on it, but with a bit of speed garage flavor as well. So some nice swingy percussion, and vocal chops, a nice warp bass line. Where it is. That's the idea. Solid. I wouldn't say that it's something that potentially at this was the main hook that I would want to release. But as things kind of tend to, get fleshed out into arrangement, that's when it kind of gel together and idea to solid track is. So the first thing that I do if I've got a loop like this, kind of get stuck. listening to the same thing, you know, over and over again, and it drive you crazy. So the main thing that you want to kind of do is get your intro, and then sort of like don't know really what your arrangement. Um, kind of first thing that I would do is start copy and pasting the loop. With most dance music, it's four, you know, it's in a 4/4 time signature, so it makes sense then to also work in like block well. Um, so the first sort of section, the intro section, will kind of be a strip back, just kind of your drums. So if you're thinking about a DJ playing back, they'll want kind of a more like a strip back section. Then they can mix the playing. So first thing that I'm going to do is kind of take out, keep the drums. So that's your first 8-bar section to introduce back. Regards to the drums, actually, I'll kind of give a breakdown of what I've done so far, just to kind of bring you up to speed on sort of like how so the first thing that I always do is start with kick. This one I got this from a track that a pack that I got recently. It's a Loop Masters Synchro Garage Essentials, I believe it is. Now, for those people that don't know, Synchro was he's Manchester, who makes sort of left field electronic music, but kind of big back in the garage scene, around about 2010. And I used to love his tracks. They just had this really nice, crisp, deep sound. The drums were always really nice and skippy, really, really snappy drums. So when I seen that he was releasing a garage sample pack with samples, garage days, kind of jumped at that. So recently got that. It was on sale at Loop Masters. So sounds really. So I used the kick drum, one of the kick out of that pack. In terms of actually four to the floor, I've added some kind of ghost note, kind of bit bouncy. So if I sold idea, the pattern. So we'll use those sort of ghost notes in garage, just in you know, sort of 4/4. It kind of gives it a Bobby kind of swingy feel. Regards to the actual any kind of simple Ableton sampler, brought sort of release down, saying and to kind of give it a more tighter feel. The sample back a bit as well, because you don't want a kind of big boomy kick when you've got a heavy bass line, because it won't cut through. That's one of the things that I always do. Rest of the drums. So there, also that pack, find it. Very nice, snappy KG snare. Ran it through Guitar Rig. for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes I like to mess around. So that's basically, I've used a bit crusher and pressing on there, kind of give it a more old school feel. Used Corpus. So that's Corpus is a very interesting effect in Ableton. I kind of don't quite understand fully how it works. And I've not kind of seen any sort of similar effects rack plugin in any other DAW or ESC. Basically a resonator, and this kind of this preset is one that I use all the time. It's bright snare. What that does is it basically resonates, kind of like emulate a membrane that it resonates the sound through. Kind of tuning the sweet spot on the frequency bandwidth on there can really accentuate certain frequencies in the sample, or the audio tracking. I put it on all sorts of things. So that's kind of giving it a bit more. So I've gone for 2.5 kilohertz. So giving it a bit more mid-range sort of punch. EQing out the low end because you don't really care unless why you would go in. Then got little like skippy, like wood blocky sample there just to give it a bit more swing. Closed hat, swing going on there. Hat. And bit of it. Just kind of give it almost like a kind of sucking feel when like going into either air or hi-hat or yeah, it kind of hard to describe the effect that kind of, but one that I kind of do quite often. I've took a from Garage drum sample pack or Cyril pack, Garage sample pack. So on its own, it kind of sounds like this. All I've done is basically go out the low and kind of some put it through that Ableton Live Corpus bright snare, pressed it a bit, and it's only there in the background to kind of give some extra kind of character. Well, something about sort of samples kind of has certain something that it's kind of hard to create and you know, by your own when you're programming sort of drum itself. So sometimes I like to well, quite often tracks had like analog, been run through analog gear and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the reason. So that's the drums in essence. That the rest of the all in it. So here's the vocal. It's just a sample from Splice. So it was from an old school house sample pack. Just a like little cut like that. I did actually find that there is a full a cappella on Splice as well, where this vocal comes from. So later on in the track arrangement, I'll probably pull that up and take some other bits of sort of it on its kind of on its own same vocal. It's going to get quite repetitive, and want to kind of or back to kind of keep vocal. I've just done some drops there. Might notice some of these drops are off the grid. Now they are quantized, but they're quantized to 16 triplets. Now I know that you can change the grid to change it to like that. Again, I'm lazy and never do it. So all I ever do is I'm quantizing anything, whether it be drums or vocal chops or any instrumental. Quantize setting, going to 16 triplets there, which is kind of what you want for that kind of garage swing. I always have these two highlighted, that start and the end of note point, and then the amount is kind of so it gives it a if you had it to 100%, it would bang on the triplet. But if I have it on 80%, then it gives it a bit of almost like human error. So it doesn't sound as robotic. It sounds like if it was played in by proper human, not a human, but that's the idea, is to kind of make it sound as natural. So vocal bit as well. This one, that's from a different pack of Splice. That ran through a Sound Toys little radiator and Valhalla Supermassive banjo. This one, so it's literally just one note. But if you play it for, so I've put on a EFX fragments. So that's like a like messes with all like harmonics and stuff like that. So you feed vocal or and basically does like a delay and harmonic. That's just dub sound. Then the last thing is the chords. Now these are just road samples from can't even remember which pack I got them from. But what I tend to do is samples there. Literally, if I know that I want certain sound, in fact, that's just give me where it's from. It's from middle pack. Nice little chord. I've ran that through Star Rig, massive, and in fact two Yeah. Sound. Um, so the next thing that you probably want this section of got the drums. So what I like to do is one of the arrangements, and I use it better when then can't really that's to fuck up really. Um, so to basically take out elements or section changes. So for instance, out the kick drum from this last eighth bar. Then when it goes in, move on to the next section. I'm gonna have to make a decision here. Basically, what am I gonna introduce? Now, first thing that I'm gonna rule out is bass line, because I'm not gonna introduce bass line in a section. Especially if you're thinking about your target audiences, people who are gonna be DJing and listening to club music. Bass line straight away is gonna cause like sort of interference with the fact that so take that out. So able to either disable the tracks, use probably best for keeping it clean. Just so told that might not be able to hear me when the mic pointing directly at my mouth. Okay. So I think I'm going to introduce the chords the first. So afternoon, Liam. I think that's a good solid first intro. Now what obviously my usual thing is to kind of introduce bit by bit until then we finally break down the track. So you about the rule of 4, because we're working in 4/4 and 8 best, working with 4 sections of 8 bars. I probably would either break it down here. I think it'd make more sense to break it down. What I'm going to do is get rid of it. bass line. Or I feel like that's quite a heavy bass line to bring in. So if that can be drop here. Now another thing that you can do as well is you kind of label things as well. So if I go into here, we can add a locator. So we can name that breakdown. This drop. Breakdown. Breakdown. Cool thing is about this is you can click on these. Plate section button there. Don't use that often because I kind of got used to arranging the track and being able to see which section is clearly clearly defined section, just by looking at it. But if you're just starting out, or if you struggle with arrangement, if that's something that you work on yourself, it might be worth trying these. Right. Hang on. Who we got in the chat? We've got Josh Smith. Right, okay. So just need to adjust the threshold on my noise gate. So bear with me, guys. My first time streaming music production, so we got some viewers on Facebook and we've got some on Twitch already. Right. Filters. I'm going to bring the noise gate threshold down quite a bit. So if it's noisy a bit, obviously this is going to be something that I'm going to be better at the more that I do it. It's like with anything, isn't it? Let me know if that's better, guys. Right, okay. So this first section here. So looking at it, I don't know whether that's a big enough drop for what a breakdown. So I might move this to there. I'm going to copy and paste that. So an idea that I usually have is to kind of usually introduce the bass line before the drop. It's kind of like a bit of a tease. So we can keep this this MIDI clip in for now, because we will make use of that. I'm just going to mute it for now, though, and concentrate on getting this part done. I feel like this bit here, actually. Shout out to Alex Leask. How's it going, brother? You know what? It's a nightmare, this streaming thing. So I've got the chat through Restream. So that shows Facebook and Twitch. But every time I click on Ableton, the screen for the chat goes away. I need to figure out if there's a way to keep that up. Right. So I want to get rid of any hi-hats that are after this snare hit. Get rid of that. So this bit. So if we leave the hi-hats into there, and then what I sometimes like to do on a breakdown is to introduce like a little crash. That's going to be way too loud straight away. I love these little fades in Ableton now. Before that, you'd have to kind of automate a sound out or just chop it. You can now have a nice smooth transition from samples. So. We can build up to this this breakdown as well. So if we duplicate this onto Ableton, the sampler, the sample, sorry. I always forget where reverse is now. There we go. Now, one thing that I haven't done on this project yet is kind of set up my reverb and delay. So rather than having individual sort of tracks having their own respective reverbs or delays, I like to make use of the return channels on Ableton, and what that allows you to do is, one, save on CPU usage, because if you're running loads of instances of reverbs or delay units, especially if you're using some plugins or whatever, you can really start sort of slowing your computer down and using up sort of the CPU usage. So if you run them on a return, what you can do is have sort of multiple channels feeding into the same sort of units, same channel, same channels, and then from there, what that the side effect of that is also that it makes things sound like they're in the same space together. So it sounds a lot more natural rather than having maybe 5 different reverbs and stuff like that going on at the same time, which can start to muddy your track. Having them all in sort of one space can really help to gel the track together. So we're going to get rid of this stock Ableton reverb, because although Ableton's reverb stuff is really good, it's nice to have nice things, isn't it? So we're going to go into plugins, going to go to Isotope, and we're going to use a Neo verb. I think I'm going to find a nice preset on here. I feel like I want one that's going to be nice for vocals. Maybe a plate vocal, plate reverb. Right, let's see how this sounds when we put a vocal through it. I already like that. So that's without it. That's with it. Yep, that's nice. We don't want too much, so we can dial these sends back. So apparently Fruity Loops has just got send and returns. Right. Delay. You know what? I'm going to keep the standard Ableton delay. What I like to do is, because I like a nice dubby echo on my tracks. So kind of the feedback, which is kind of the amount of time that the delay goes on for. I always like to have that up in round about sort of 70 to 80%. So kind of just to give you an idea of how that works. So we've got, that's totally, in fact we'll take the reverb off as well so you can. So if I've got a short feedback, then it's just like a nice long one, and then we'll bring the the amount of sends down, because we only want a little bit. It's just to kind of fill out the vocal a little bit. So the reason why I wanted to set those up is to kind of give more impact to this crash. So if I bring the reverb up, just a bit of reverb, just a bit of reverb, and then we want, you know, a decent amount of delay on there. On the reverse one that comes in, I think I'm just going to use reverb, no delay, because we don't want to kind of have that sort of carrying on, and we don't want too much sort of like high frequencies just washing over the mix. You're right, Ryan, mate. Eyeball Paul, he's calling me. Right. Right, okay, where do we want to go from here? I had these sort of dub sounds as well. So it's just a little snip of a double arm, run through some chorus and some delay from Supermassive. Not too sure whether I'm keen on those, to be honest. We can have a look at some others. Where can we go for some nice double arms? I think this is the part of music production that gives me the most anxiety, is having, well, I think I've got about something like 80 gigabytes of sample packs and just random stuff that I've downloaded. I mean, some of the stuff that, you know, that's on my hard drive. Well, yeah. Someone should phone the sample police. Right, okay. Just type in double arm. There we go. That sounds like that's the one that I used. Let's just keep it in for now. I think this needs to come down now. That sounds better with that tighter delay. Hey up, Groover. Hey up, Antoine. So, for those that have just joined us, the idea is that basically I've just started with an 8-bar loop, and the aim is to get about half the arrangement done. Now, whether we'll get there or not is, well, that remains to be seen. But we're going to have fun along the way. Hopefully, people will be able to take something from it. And it means that I'm getting more music done. So, yeah, that's the aim of the game, isn't it? To get more music done. So. I feel like the vocal cuts are getting a bit repetitive. Specifically, these ones. What you can do, duplicate this track.
Look inside. 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 Look inside.
Right. Feel like go back to this. We duplicate that as well. kind of want to, when it gets to the breakdown, have the elements kind of go wider, sort of within the sort of stereo width, to kind of give a you know, a kind of effect of having more space in the breakdown. This vocal doubler by Isotope is great for sort of widening vocals or instruments. So I'm using it on the chords at the moment. I want it super wide. If I add some of the reverb as well. Feel like I need a long tail reverb as well. So what I'm going to do is make a new return track. Favorites. Right, okay. So this should be a good one. This one that I've used on quite a few vocals before. Now what I'm going to do is start building up towards the drop. So I'm going to copy over the drums to a new channel. New group, sorry. We're going to build it up from there. So this is a trick that's used in sort of like you know, within garage and mainly kind of speed garages, to kind of loop the drums on the snare as you kind of building it. And what we can do is we can kind of automate this to kind of come in gradually rather than straight away. So the way that I like to do that, rather than automating the actual channels, because we can do that. So if you go to here, you can kind of draw them in. Now the problem with that is that, say if I want to, I don't know, say if it gets to the mix down stage and I want to pull this channel down and sort of like reduce the gain on this channel, it disables that automation. So I'm just going to delete that automation. And what I like to do is go to utility, and we use the gain on the utility. So if I pull down this now,
Look inside. Look inside. Look inside.
So we're just again taking some elements out before this part, which is going to be where the main bass line kicks in.
Look inside. 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 Look inside.
Duplicate this track.
Look inside. Look inside. Look inside. Look inside. Look inside. Look inside. Look inside.
So again, we need to make something that's going to have some impact for here.
Look inside.
We got a gunshot. Nice little ricochet there.
Look inside. Look inside. Look inside.
So sometimes I like to basically raid the other projects that I've made in the past and like pinch things out of them, just because then I don't have to remake them from scratch. So I've literally taken that from another track that I've done called All the Massive, and that's just going to give more impact to the breakdown, I hope. Needs coming down in volume though. Not too fussed on that gunshot. So it's kind of figure out where we've sort of got up to. So we've got a 8-bar drum intro. We've got the introduction of some chords, the vocal chops, then the main vocal itself, breakdown, and then kind of a build up to the drop. Yes, Jake, how's it going, man? Right, okay. So, although messy, the breakdown flows pretty well. So what we're going to do is add a bit of chorus to this this gunshot because it's a bit in your face. So that's helped to so without it. Bring the amount down, but then just kind of helps it blend in a bit. This bit here needs a little something to kind of carry it over into the drop. So again, I'm going to raid my previous folders or previous projects. This one, yeah. group these together. And I think I'm going to put a bit of chorus on them just to take away the harshness. So after that, we're gonna then introduce the vocal back again. Yes, out to Jack, out to Jay, out to Vicky. I feel like at this point it needs a bit of a switch up in the bass line. So I always like to make a different colour there. So loop this section. Just going to mute the vocals. It's always good to bounce the notes up the octave, like give a nice bouncy feel. And then giving it like a sort of staggered one on the same octave for the next section. I didn't really talk about what the bass line consists of, really. So the whole track's in E minor, I think it is. So it's pretty basic sort of like sort of pattern. The actual bass sound, so the patch is made on Massive. So it's basically just a square wave or an LFO with a attached to the filter to give it some movement. And then some bits in the envelope to kind of bring it in a bit more smoothly. And then I've kind of cut away sort of some of the mid frequencies of it, just to kind of give the vocal a bit more chance to breathe. Going through a supermassive for a bit of chorus, just to give it a bit more width, and then utility to bring the bass to anything under 500 hertz back into mono. I did send it to its own delay. Channel, so return C is a supermassive with a delay on it, a really tight delay, and then I've got an EQ to take out any of the low frequencies, and a chorus to give it again more width. And what that does kind of gives it a bit more of a release. So originally I had the bass line on a bit more stabby, and then the delay kind of giving it a bit more sort of a bit more presence. Are we well, Sean? Yeah, I'm not changing that bleep one. I do use it in every track, but I don't hear anyone else using it, so yeah. So That might be a deal, Sean. Yeah. It's a long way off being finished. I only started the loop tonight and obviously done the arrangement on stream. But yeah, just having some fun with it, man. Splice vocal as well, though, so... We're going to start again from the breakdown. So again, today's session is just kind of like get the arrangement down. Quite often, any sort of variation in sort of melody or sort of the bass line sounds, I kind of go and do that later on, kind of the step just before like mix down, or kind of like sort of the other sort of like little embellishes. Yeah, we'll do, Sean. Yeah, I'll go on. I'll have to use some of my credits. But yeah, glad you're liking it. So yeah, I feel like at this stage it would benefit really from making some sort of changes to the melody, especially around the drop. So sometimes it's just about sort of like throwing things to the wall and seeing what sticks. Hang on, that could be something. Feel like that one's a bit too sort of heavy. Sounds way off that. I don't know whether it's the delay. sounds better. I mean, that is literally just changing one note in the arrangement, and it changes the way that the well, it doesn't change completely how the melody sounds, but to a certain extent it does. Right, what are we on? Okay, just coming up to an hour, so I think I am going to stop it there. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. I think we have achieved what we wanted to achieve. So we set off with just an 8-bar loop, and now we've got pretty much half an arrangement. Now, it's in no way sort of indicative of what the final piece, final track will sound like, most probably. I tend to get to this stage, finish the rest of the arrangement, and then by the time that's happened, it's become a totally different track. But I found once you get to this part, so once you've got the basics of an arrangement down, it becomes like a critical mass, and you know, the chances of finishing the track once you get to this part are a lot higher than, you know, sort of if you're just spending loads of time with that 8-bar loop just listening to it, because you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to get sick of it. And the only way to do that is just kind of throw things at the wall and just kind of get a rough arrangement down. So I think going forward, I think I'm going to do Fridays as a stream day. So just an hour or maybe 2 hours, depending on how long I feel like sitting in my chair. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.